Hey, it's me, MLB. Welcome back to Heavy Training. This is part 9. Enjoy. I'm planning on taking Eri to the zoo today. Would you like to come? His message read. Yes, he replied. Maybe spending a day with the two of them will help me sound it out a little more, you thought as you got out of bed. The thought of going to the zoo with the two of them had really energised you, and you didn't feel quite as run down as you had a few seconds ago. Today might be a good day, you said out loud, trying to be on the more positive side of the spectrum. You went about your usual morning routine while messaging Aizawa about meeting times and ticket prices and all of that, but he pretty much had everything sorted. While you were getting ready at home, he was standing outside the local jeweller's. After finishing his text to you, he put his phone in his pocket and turned to the door and then entered. The person behind the counter had to do a double take, unsure if a bum had just walked in or if it was a paying customer. May I be of assistance, sir? He asked cautiously, eyeing Aizawa as he moved to the main glass counter. You might be. Aizawa replied as he walked over to the glass cabinet that the jeweller was now standing behind and looked down into the sea of rings. Anything in particular you're looking for? The jeweller asked, trying to get a starting point. A ring. Engagement. Aizawa stated, still looking at the rings. Oh, congratulations, sir, the jeweller said with a small, forced smile. None needed, Aizawa replied, and the small smile faded quickly from the jeweller's face. Any particular style you were looking for? The jeweller then asked while Aizawa's bloodshot eyes scanned the rings in the row closest to him. Something with personality, Aizawa commented, and the man deadpanned a little before brightening. Ah, yes, I know just the thing. If you will kindly follow me, he queried, gesturing for Aizawa to follow him to a nearby cabinet. He pointed out a few rings there, and Aizawa liked the look of one, so chose it and followed the man to the payment counter. It was as Aizawa was pulling his credit card from his wallet that the jeweller saw the hero license and brightened significantly. Oh, Eraserhead, do forgive me, he said with alarm. I didn't recognise you. No need for formalities, Aizawa said dismissively, waving his hand as he held the credit card up and handed it over. Well, I do wish you all the best, the jeweller said. You've made a wonderful choice. I'm sure Madam will approve. Aizawa grunted, and the jeweller sweat dropped. Have a wonderful day, the jeweller said kindly as Aizawa left the shop, and then let his face fall. That was quite difficult, he admitted to thin air. What a morose fellow. Bag packed, game face on, and butterflies in stomach, you arrived at the bus stop outside the zoo and looked around. Families were everywhere, kids excitedly holding onto their mummies and daddies' hands, bouncing up and down and talking animatedly about their favourite animal. And what sound does an elephant make? One of the mums asked her little boy as she carried him in arms past you. It does a... the little boy exclaimed excitedly, puffing his cheeks out as he tried to imitate the sound. The mum chuckled and kissed his ballooned-out cheek. That was very good, she praised him. You couldn't help but smile as you watched them. Then suddenly a little tug on your pants caught your attention and you looked down. Hi Ian. The soft yet happy little voice of Eri greeted you as her large red eyes blinked up at you. Oh, hi Eri, you said brightly. Where's Aizawa? You asked, covering the fact that you were about to call him Dad for a second there. She turned and pointed her little finger back towards the zoo fence, and there he was, standing there looking as shabbily hot as usual, just watching you. Your heart leapt when you saw him and you smiled and then looked down at her. Are you ready for a fun day? You asked her as you took her hand and walked back over to Aizawa with her. She nodded enthusiastically and reached out to take Aizawa's other hand with her hand so that she had you on one side and him on the other. Hi, you said to Aizawa. Yes, he replied. Yes? You chuckled as you and he walked with Eri to the middle of the zoo entrance. Yes, he said again. I like this. You smiled a little bashfully and then looked away. Now is not the time to get all mushy yin. You need to think about your answer today. Stay focused. The lady at the counter smiled politely as you all approached, and she greeted you with warmth. Oh, what a lovely family, she commented kindly. One for Mum, Dad, and how old is your little one? She then added, looking at the child pricing list. She's 6, you said to the lady, just rolling with the conversation and not contesting her. How are you going to explain your situation anyway? Oh, wonderful. Under 7 is a special price today because of the Red Panda exhibit, she said as she clicked buttons on the computer with her mouse and then reached for the printer to get the ticket bracelets out. You can feed the Red Pandas for free if you're under 7. Oh, wonderful, you said, happily accepting the band bracelets to clip onto yourself, Aizawa and Eri. Allow me, Aizawa said as he reached out to take the ticket bands from your hand. Oh, thank you, you said, handing them to him before addressing the lady at the counter again. Thank you very much. Oh, it's my pleasure. Have a wonderful day, she said as she pressed the button on the gate for it to open for you all to enter. Okay, off we go, you said brightly, ushering the other two through. You need your band on, Aizawa said as he halted you on the other side of the gate and pulled you an area aside so that you weren't standing in the way. You put your hand out to him and he gently took your hand and rotated it so that it was wrist up, and he put the bracelet on and snapped the button closed so that it wouldn't fall off. Thank you, he said, being keenly aware of his fingers as they lightly brushed your wrist while he had been working. You're welcome, he said softly, then looked down at Eri. Now, where do you want to go first? Eri looked up at him and then around. She was still holding onto your hand, and you felt her grip tighten with uncertainty. I don't know, Eri trembled out. Oh, this is huge for her. This is a big decision. She probably hasn't been asked what she wants to do. She's probably always been told what to do. Oh, hey, you said suddenly and brightly. What's that over there? You pointed to the ground where there was a bright yellow paw print painted on it. What's that? Maybe we should follow these paw prints. Look, there's another one over there. You stole a glance at Eri and saw that her eyes had brightened. Do you want to follow them? You asked her. She nodded her little head and kept her eyes on the line of yellow paw prints, holding your hand and pulling you with her as she started after them. Good call, Aizawa said softly in a low voice into your ear, and you got a wave of goosebumps. Thanks, you whispered back, allowing Eri to take the lead while he followed a pace behind. Yay, zoo trip with Eri. Stay tuned for the next part, part 10, next week. I'll see you then.